I want to take this time to talk about our KPIs, or our key performance indicators. So, our KPIs, or a key performance indicator, are things that we've established to be super, super important within our business. Now, the whole reason why we've established why they're important is because we want to make the effort to basically measure them each and every day to make sure that we're performing on them. Ultimately, if we're performing on our KPIs, we're doing good by the customer, we're doing good for the business itself, and our employees can receive a cash bonus because essentially our KPIs feed directly into our cash bonus system. So, our KPIs specifically are productivity, reviews, referrals, and upsells. So I'm going to quickly go through what each of those mean. First one is productivity. Essentially, that means how much work are we getting done, and it's measured in amount of work per hour. So again, this is where, because we're hyper seasonal and we always have more work than we do have time in the day, it's always important that we have crew members on board that have that healthy dose of urgency. So as soon as we get out of the work vehicle, for instance, generally speaking, everybody's looking for something to do, whether it be filling up the water bucket, getting the ladders ready, going to introduce yourself to the customer. That kind of buzz in the air, if you will, is that healthy urgency in play, and ultimately it's going to translate to us getting through more work in a shorter period of time, which essentially is what productivity is defined by. So it's illustrated on our scoreboard as a point system, and basically each and every day you'll get a scoreboard from the day prior. And productivity is one of our KPIs. It's one of the most important ones, because if we have people on board that are not productive, obviously we can't go into our pockets paying for work that essentially is not coming to the customer and that we can't bill for, right? So the crew leader has a huge opportunity when it comes to productivity, in that you're the leader, and essentially whoever's working beside you is going to do as much of you, but maybe just a little bit less. So if you arrive and you got kind of a nonchalant attitude and you're not really focused on getting through the work, and it's pretty chill and it's pretty easy going, chances are the guys that are working next to you are going to do that same amount and even maybe a little bit less. So you have that opportunity, being that you're kind of the benchmark and the template for the job, to really set the tone when it comes to productivity, and to just maintain that healthy tone of urgency. And it goes a long ways. I like to say the minutes turn into the hours, turn into the days, turn into the weeks. So if we just manage those small intervals of time, be it the minutes or the hours, that's going to translate into success on a larger scale basis. So again, that is an opportunity for you as the crew leader to really have an impact on the crew that you're leading and that you're involved in, to make sure that you're operating at that high tempo, and it will translate to a bigger bonus rather to you in the way of the productivity element of our KPIs. The second one we have is reviews. So this day and age, Google and Facebook are a huge dictator in terms of generating new business. It also gives new customers a huge amount of additional confidence in our service and our abilities if they Google us and they see that we have like a 4.9 rating. That goes a long ways this day and age, right? So it's also very healthy for the business to have a lot of recent and relevant reviews. So as such, we like to reward crew members who get reviews. Again, this is a component that you'll see on the scoreboard, and we hand out a cash bonus respective to the number of reviews that the crew leader, specifically the crew leader, receives. And one thing to note here is we disproportionately reward the crew leaders with our bonus program. Being that you have a little bit more impact and a little bit more responsibility, we feel like it's important to respond with a higher level bonus for our crew leaders. So that's just a small side note. Referrals is another one of our KPIs. So just as reviews give confidence to a future customer, so too does a referral from a friend or family member. So if you go and do a great job for Mrs. Jones, she might tell her sister, she might tell her brother, she might tell her friends or neighbors about the excellent experience that she received. And if she does that, they're going to come into our business with a higher degree of confidence, much like if they saw us with a great ranking on Google or Facebook. And that's great when it comes time to trying to quote and trying to earn their business. So again, this has a benefit to our business, and we want to align that with our whole bonus system so that we reward you when you are able to achieve these things that are good for the business. The final one that I'll quickly get into are upsells. So before we actually get into a job and we arrive at the property, we're going to do a quick inspection of the various elements of the home or the property that we're to be servicing. So even though we're there to say do the window cleaning, you'll notice on your job sheet, which gets filled out on every job, before we get going, we're going to actually inspect things like the gutters. And if the gutters are full of debris and they need to be cleaned, we're going to take that as an opportunity to essentially upsell the customer on something that they genuinely need. Now, I emphasize the genuinely need because we always have to abide by a high level of moral and ethics because we're never going to be in that place where we want to suggest something that actually doesn't need to happen. So that's always just kind of the fine print. If we're being seen as professionals and being respected for what we know and how we recommend, we always have to abide by that very high level of ethics when we recommend things. But with that being said, absolutely, if the gutters are full of debris and they need to be done, the homeowner generally just wants to get these things off of their to-do list. And if we're already there on site and they don't have to pick up the phone and call a different company and get a quote and sit in the voicemail, they might not even know that we actually do these other services. But if we make it that simple and that convenient for them to take advantage of the service offering, which ultimately gives them their time back and is just a more convenient solution for them, then that has a tremendous amount of value. And that's why we do that kind of pre-job walk around to make sure that there's no other elements of their home that need servicing while we're already there. So those are our key performance indicators. That's how they directly tie in to our cash bonus system. It works to align everybody so that everybody's on the same page or in the same boat, rowing in the same direction. And it works really well in that we're able to reward you for things that work really well and benefit our business.